Welcome to Real Wisdom, where we dive into the real stories of remarkable women. Today, I'm so excited to introduce Jodi Silverman. She's a mentor, a speaker, and the founder of Moms Who Dare. Jodi has turned midlife, which can be a place where so many of us get stuck, into a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. With her community, Jodi helps women to not just survive the empty nest, but to find their own wings. Stay tuned as we dive into how she inspires women to rediscover their purpose and their passion. And if you're curious to hear more stories like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Jodi, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really happy to have you here. I think this is going to be a great conversation. I would like to start at a turning point for you. So one day, your kids are going off to college, you're going to have an empty nest. What was it about that moment that you decided or sparked the idea for moms who
Yeah,
dare?
so it's interesting.
Or did they
Yeah,
come
well,
later?
it did come a little later. So the turning point for me, Holly, first of all, thank you for hosting me on Real Wisdom. I'm so excited to be here.
My
Love the
pleasure.
conversations that you've had. I'm so honored to be part of it. Um, my turning point was, my daughter was a senior in high school, my son was a freshman, and I found myself one day in a super quiet space, and I found myself thinking to myself, okay, Jodi, so when Ellie leaves, and it's just me and Daniel, I'm going to have even more space left in my life because, as far as I'm concerned, Holly, empty nest begins when they're in high school and they get their driver's license. That's when it begins.
That's a very
That's,
good
yeah,
point.
because they don't need you to drive them anywhere anymore. So, and then I'm like, and then Daniel, I know how quick those 4 years, those other 3 years are going to go. And I'm like, I'm going to have a lot of empty space in my life. And if I do, is the current business that I have really what I want to be doing? Is it enough? And the answer was just like, hell no, like, no. And I remember sitting there, and in that moment, it all happened so fast. I'm like, no. And realized that that answer, that this was not enough, had nothing to do with anybody else. It had nothing to do with me as a mom, a wife, but it had everything to do with just me. What did I want for me? And I didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to do. Yet, by asking that question, allowing myself to answer, led me to be open to opportunity when it showed itself and down a series of yeses. And I realized that I was going to support other moms approaching the emptiness season of life, that I didn't want these other moms to feel as if everything was over, that they were going to be stuck crying and not getting out of bed, and that this was actually not only the beginning for their children to go out in the world and brave new experiences and learn and grow. And it was their time to go out in the world and brave new experiences and learn and grow. And that led me towards creating this community called Moms Who Dare. And that's how Moms Who Dare, which is the platform is dare because it's a fun word, not a scary word. And it's all about daring to shift the focus from where it's been for decades on our families, on our children, on our work, our careers, whether your career was working at home or not, to shift that back, dare to shift it back onto you and discover, what dreams maybe have you pushed aside that you're ready now to go and find for yourself. And that's how this all happened.
Do you still use that, or in the community, do you use that series of yeses? Because that seems like a really interesting concept. Because I feel that so many women, they're in that space where they're feeling a little stuck, and it's not yes, yes, yes. It's no, that's not for me. That's not it. That's not
So,
it.
you know what, Holly? I'm actually going to do it now because you suggested it. I do. And yet I think I can articulate it clearer. Hearing you ask that question. See, this is how we learn, right? This is why your show is so important. I do, because daring is about saying yes. Daring is trying new things, even when you're scared. Even when you think, well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, if it doesn't, what would you tell your children? I want to take this class, but I'm not sure I'm going to like it. Well, you won't know unless you take it. And, and here's what I always tell the moms, because we would tell our kids this. And I just had this conversation with my son recently. Learning what you don't like is just as important as learning what you do like because they work hand in hand. So dare to say yes to taking that class that you've always wanted to take. And if you take the class and you realize it, not for me, well, that's great. Check it off the list. You know that's not for you. So now what's next? So I've never, I don't articulate yes, 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 but the daring is the yes. No, we do. So
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I say, if you're stuck, if you're, we're talking about, real wisdom in a time of life, midlife. There's so much that happens in midlife. There's menopause, our kids leaving home, caring for our aging parents. And all of that can have us feeling stuck and uncertain. And actually menopause itself deals blows to us, to our self-esteem without us even knowing it. It can, I learned by interviewing people for my show that the hormone imbalance can create fear and doubt in us.
Yeah.
So the act of daring is supposed to be taking little steps towards yeses. It doesn't mean that you have to go zip lining or jump out of an airplane or, reinvent yourself overnight. It just means maybe it's as simple as taking a different route to work. Walking, if you're a walker and you go to the same track every day, turn around. If you go clockwise, go counterclockwise. Go a different way. Go to a different park in your area. That's what daring can do because it gets you unstuck and you never know who you might meet. Spend a day giving out random compliments to strangers. There's so much you can do. Listen, don't listen to your GPS. Don't second guess it. Let it take you through the side. My GPS took me through neighborhoods that I never knew existed in an area that I went all the time. And I saw the most beautiful homes. So daring is, in my opinion, my platform that I share with women to help them get unstuck and discover new things and meet new people. And that's what led me to having this community and starting a podcast and being a public speaker, is saying yes and daring little by little.
You mentioned in your coaching, you believe in the power of self-talk. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how has that, helped your experiences?
That I would say that was a first self-awareness tool that I was brought to my awareness by my very first coach. And I hired my very first coach before Zoom. It was a 90-minute call. I had never worked with a life coach before. She was a life coach, business coach, and we got on this call. And in the first 10 minutes of our conversation, she stopped. She was asking me questions about myself. And she stopped. She said, Jodi, I need to bring something to your awareness. I said, well, she's the words and the phrases that you're using to answer my questions are not really serving you well. They're not super positive. And I was like, what is she talking about? Holly, I'm one of the most positive people I know. I, by my default setting is optimistic, not toxic positivity, but my default is I do look for the good. I see the good. I could take a sad situation. I could flip it around, move through it. I feel sad. I get angry. I do. And yet I can move through it. I'm strong. I'm resilient. And yet here she was telling me my self-talk was not good. So self-talk is that inner dialogue we have with ourselves. It's not necessarily what we say out loud. It's both. It's what we say out loud and what we think to ourselves. And when she shared that with me, I don't know exactly what I was saying because it was so long ago, but it must have been like, well, I think I can do this, but I'm not that good. I was really not good in school. Holly, and for the audience, I sucked at school. And now I know why it was challenging for me. But going through it, that's what I thought. So she called me out on the whole, you don't even think you're smart. So your self-talk is, it shapes who you are and how you show up in the world for yourself and others. And she took me through a very powerful exercise that became the basis of my very first talk. That is still my number one sought after talk when organizations call me. And she took me through this simple affirmation exercise as I learned what an affirmation was. And she said she wanted me to write down a list of 7 to 10 words that I thought best described my natural gifts, talents, and passions. So this is a dare for your audience listening right now. Get a pen and paper, and you could pause it right here. And I want you to write down 7 to 10 words. Like I even have here. I'm gonna get it right here. I have it. the original words. The original list is right here in my office to this day. It's on my board. I wrote words like passionate, take charge, persistent, trust, smart, funny, good friend. And then she added these smart. And then she wanted me to make them into I am statements.
Okay,
I am
yeah.
passionate. I am a take charge person. I am smart. I have great follow through and persistence. I am a happy person. And I wrote them down, typed them up, and I put them where I could see them every day. And, your self-talk is powerful because it's the inner dialogue that you say to yourself every day, and you want to pay attention to it because it can be devastating for you. And this isn't about telling yourself lies. It's about these are all true. Her whole motto is scream your dream. Then she says all the time, it's time for women to brag boldly. So make your I am statements and brag boldly about them. Bragging boldly isn't being obnoxious. Like, what do you know to be true about yourself? And it's all about owning your worth. And this is about owning your worth. What do you know to be true about yourself? And as you start to practice your I am statements and say them and read them every day, you'll start to catch the negative self-talk, the self-talk that's not serving you well. And you'll be like, no, you don't get to be in the forefront of my mind today. I'm going to take one of these instead. And that's that's called cleaning up your self-talk, but you can't do it until you're aware of it. And it also requires a lot of grace and self-compassion. We have to be nicer to ourselves. We would never say the things that we say to ourselves to our friends. Never would you call your friend fat. Never would you call your friend stupid or dumb, or you would never tell your children, you failed. I can't believe you failed. You say, that's good. What did you learn from it? We need to apply the same grace and compassion that we give to our friends and family to ourselves. And you get to practice that, especially in midlife. It's all about you in midlife. Yes, we are still parents. If you're a mom, you're still moms. Yes, you might still have a career. And yet it gets to be so much more about you now. And that's not selfish.
No, that's just opening yourself up to the idea that there's space for you now. Whereas I think the majority of, early on when I'm raising young children and you think, well, this is where I need to be present. This is where I'm showing up. And so I love the concept of your community and just empowering women before that moment, before that day where you're dropping your kid off at college and then you're standing in the parking lot. Like, what am I going to do now?
And it's interesting you said we're in the empty nest season, I call it, because college moving day, if you're going off to college moving, it's a big college moving day. Not all kids are leaving the nest to go to college, but it just so happens that August is a huge college moving day month. And these women that are joining my Facebook group, all of them, I asked the question that before they come into the group, I asked the question, what's your biggest challenge? I would say if 20 women have joined the Facebook group, 18 of them have said not being needed anymore. So I'm actually going live in my group this week because we're going to debunk that myth.
How are you going to address that?
Okay. So your kids always, how old are your kids, Holly?
I was a very young mom. And so my oldest son is 37. My younger son is 34.
So mine are 26 and 29. Here's what I'm going to say. Because when they get their driver's license, that's the first time you ever hear mom say, well, they don't need me anymore. I don't need to take them to practice. I don't need to drive them to a friend's house. True, right? They don't need you to do that anymore. But the question I would ask every mom is it true that they don't need you anymore? Think about the question. When they go off to college, I get the feeling, absolutely 100%, identify with, understand the feeling of I'm not needed. We're not needed in the same way. The way we show up for our kids, the way they want us to show up for them, the way they ask us to is different. It is a loss. And we have to mourn that loss. And yet we want to move through it. We don't want to get knocked out by it because they do still need us. They need us in a different way. They will still. My 29-year-old had COVID not too long ago. She called me and she goes, Mom, what do I do? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, well, we want me to order you some chicken soup? Is that because she lives 3 hours away. But she just wanted to call. She called her mom. What her mom? She was sick. She lives with her boyfriend for 4 years. She called her mom. I still call my mom when I'm sick. I have surgery. I'm like, Mom, will you be there when I wake up from surgery when I get home? Like, so yes, the feeling of not being needed is real. And we're going to acknowledge that we can mourn the loss of what was and then move as quickly as possible for you into okay, but you know what? I'm still their mom and they will need me. When they go off to college or out into the world, the number one shift, I call it the number one shift. This is another talk I do for moms that we must learn to make is that of going from the fixer to the coach. We become their
Oh,
advisor, coach or advisor, whichever word you like. We do because
yeah.
we're not there to fix things for them. We're not there to make sure they don't fall and get hurt. They're going to have to learn to fail. It really needs to start in high school and middle school. You need to kind of pick and choose your fixer moments and your advisor coach moments because they need to learn how to advocate for themselves, especially though when they become adults. And I say this all the time, you might not be right there on the sideline of the soccer field anymore, but you're still somewhere on the field. Honor the loss and move through the loss because there's something new and exciting coming up and they still need you in a different way. We have so much
Yeah.
knowledge and experience and our kids will need it. They only know what they know. They've never navigated life every day of their life without us. They're going to need us and we need to be there and we need to be fully functioning, but we need to acknowledge that they are moving into adulthood. And what's our job? What's our role? To raise confident decision making adults, really good
Yes.
humans to make good decisions. And if we're making the decisions for them, and there's questions that like here, I'll give you the number one question that you could ask your children when they come to you with a problem or they call you and they start like venting about something. It's a permission question. You can either ask me if you get the phone call asking it before, if your daughter or son calls you said, listen, I'm having a problem at work. I want to run it by you. Say, okay, are you looking for me to just be a sounding board or would you like me to offer my opinion or thoughts at the end?
I heard that before, and that really changes the conversation because they're getting what they need, and you don't feel as if you're coming
Yes.
across as being the know-it-all or it's got to
Yeah,
be
because
my way.
sometimes
Because sometimes you just want to like get it
and
out.
mom is a safe space. Your friends can only take so much of
Yeah.
your complaining. Your mom can take a lot more. And then I would also just say, like, if she said, no, I want your opinions at the end, careful. Ask another question at the end before you offer your opinion. You still want to be in the, I don't do this well all the time. Oh, I fall into fixer mode even now. And it wasn't that long, a couple months ago, I called my daughter back. I said, I'm really sorry. You called just to vent, and I just dove right in to try and tell you what I thought. And I'm sorry I did that. She goes, it's okay, Mom. If you're constantly jumping in, trying to offer your solution, you should do this. You need to do this. You need. And I've seen it. It happened to me too. It's happened to me throughout my life with my parents. You're going to stop calling and you're going to start talking. They're going to be wondering, well, why aren't you sharing anything with me? Well, because you always tell me what I should and need to do. That's not why I'm calling you. That's why. So pay attention.
Yeah.
Don't you have a friend like that? I have a friend like that. I call her now. She's still down. I say, I do not need you to tell me what I need to do.
Shut it
Right.
down.
You don't want to go to that person anymore. It's the same thing. So, and that's what I'm going to address about. They do need you. They need you in a different way. So it's okay to feel sad. My whole thing is, I just don't want a mom to get stuck in the sadness for too long. I want you to feel
Yes.
it. You have to. You can't
Yeah.
move through an emotion without feeling it. You can't suppress it. You suppress emotions, you're going to end up with anxiety, depression, and then it's even worse. You have to feel the emotions. You just need the tools to get you out of it. I use humor.
Humor is good, but you are so right about that. I've been really trying to learn more and more about the stuck because sometimes I still feel myself getting to that point where I think this is gonna be a pity party. Like I'm gonna get stuck in these feelings, and that's why I feel like talking to you and other women who have already come up with some tools to help us get out of that stuckness and to recognize that you have to feel it. You
Yes.
have to be in there.
And
Yeah.
here's another thing to yourself. The next time you're allow yourself to cry. I've allowed myself to cry. I just don't want to feel sad all the time.
Yes.
So, do
Yes.
you really want to feel this way for weeks? Okay. And if the answer is no, and you really can't pull yourself out of it, then you pick up the phone, you call for help. You get a therapist. You call your best friend. It's not everybody can use self-improvement tools on their own. I don't think anybody in the world should be without a therapist on speed dial. I mean, we all need help. So, well,
Yes.
when people
Yes.
say, but it's easy for you to say, no, it's not easy for you. It might be easier for me to do, but if you decide, I want to feel better, I don't want to be stuck in bed. What can I do? It's the same thing if your kids call with a problem. Is there somebody on campus that can help you? Is it for your
Yeah.
office?
Right.
You don't know what your major, you're not like, is there somebody on campus that is trained or in a position to help you with your major, with navigating the classes, with your health and wellness? Same thing with us. I don't want to feel this way anymore. What can I do?
And you're right, though, asking for help.
Yes.
Because I think too many of us put a mask on. Everything is going okay. And, then the people around us are like, I never knew you felt that way. And you might have been feeling that way for a really long time.
And the people that say, oh, just get over it. Emptiness is great. Emptiness is fine. No, you can't just get over it. You have to move through it. You have to feel it. And for some people, that's harder than others. So once you make a decision, you don't want to feel this way anymore. Because when you can move through it, whether you do it yourself or you have help or whatever it is, I mean, there's so much more joy and more exciting times waiting as a mom of adults. There is. There are hard times.
Yeah.
And look, I still am sad I'm not with my kids on their birthday all the time. And there's things, and yet having so much joy and enjoyment having an adult relationship with my children. We're having a lot of fun together. I couldn't have that if I was stuck in the sadness all the time. And it doesn't mean I don't have moments where I miss them or sad. I mean, I'm having, my son lives 45 minutes away from me. I haven't seen him in like a month. And I'm like, I text him like, I miss you. I need to see you because I know we will soon. I'm like, you just, the more you practice it, the more support you get, the quicker you can get through those emotions so that you can then be enjoying every moment, watching them become who they become, watching them grow up, watching them navigate the workplace, watching them meet a significant other and having a really healthy relationship. It's fun.
You mentioned something about play. And is that a good tool to use to get unstuck?
Yeah. I also want to throw in smiling, Holly. It's a big thing that's been coming up lately. So I talk about 5 dares that you can bring in intentionally in either every day, every week, every month, more intentionally. Play is one of them. Play isn't just for kids anymore. Play, when you embark on play, and playing can be, I'll give you some ideas in a minute. When we play, research shows that well, first of all, you get out of, there's the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain. I don't know if you've ever heard of the masculine energy, feminine energy. It's not about gender, but the left side of the brain is the logical side of the brain. It's the to-do list. It's what can I do to achieve this? The right side of the brain is a whole creativity center. So when you embark on any kind of play, whether it's at a playground, whether it's a board game, canasta, zip lining, any kind of play, you're now engaging the right side of your brain, which does unleash creativity and could help you become clearer and less stuck in, well, all I've been is a mom. What else can I do? It could unleash a hidden dream that you had, a hidden talent. I mean, I didn't know I loved tennis. I loved it. My girlfriend said, will you take a tennis lesson with me on Fridays? I'm like, sure. Turned into this whole thing. Here I am 12 years later. I'm still playing competitively. I love it. We forget to play because life gets serious. We're taking care of our kids. We play with our kids when they're little, but we're always worried about doing laundry and doing the dishes. It's time to bring play back into your life. Intentionally bring it. And one of the easiest ways to do it is, bring out a board game you used to like. I love Yahtzee. I played Yahtzee with a friend last summer. Backgammon. Women are playing canasta and mahjong. And then the other thing is, the next time you drive by that local playground that you drive by every day on your way to work,
Yes.
pull in the parking lot and go down the sliding board. It's a little tighter.
Oh, I was gonna say
Or
sit
sit,
on the
I
swing.
was gonna
I used
say,
to love
or
swinging
sit
when
on
I
the
was
swing.
little.
I mean, so two things. If you swing too high, I got vertigo. But hey, I did a little swing. And the sliding board might be a little tighter, but it's still fun. Right. So stop into the playground and sit on a swing and do a little swing if you want. Remember what it was like to pump your legs and just incorporate play.
Yeah,
And
it was fun.
smiling is another one. Smiling is huge. It takes no, you cannot be angry when you're smiling. You cannot be crying when you're smiling. You can't be. Spend a day smiling. Wake up and smile. Look in the mirror, brush your teeth, smile. Smile while making your breakfast. Smile all day. Look at people in the eyes, smile. It is infectious. Infectious. You smile, somebody else will smile at you.
I promise I'm gonna put that on my
Pay
to-do list.
attention.
But
Holly, pay
speaking,
attention when you're watching a TV show and the people on the movie screen or the TV screen smile. You smile.
yeah, but I think recently you had something to smile about because I was doing a little snooping on your Instagram and have you and your husband
32
celebrated
years.
an
Yeah, 32
anniversary.
years. We have a big July. It's like his
Congratulations.
birthday, our anniversary, and my birthday, all within like 14 days.
That was a good streak
Yeah,
you
but
had
yeah, we
going
just
on there.
celebrate 32 years with Sam Silverman.
In the post, you mentioned something about either you've learned 3 things or there are
Oh, yeah,
3.
my God, you're gonna
and-
help me get my memory. Okay, so one of them is,
Yeah, 3 keys to a successful
yeah,
relationship.
can I pull it up? I know that one of them is asking for what you need. That's a big one. Even after 32 years, don't assume he, or I'll say she, knows exactly what you want. He still doesn't. He's a great man, but ask for what you need. Ask for what you want. If you like flowers and he stopped by you flowers, say, I really like flowers. It would be nice if I got flowers maybe every Friday. Ask for it. If he then doesn't do it, then you have to sit down and have a talk. Respect for each other's thoughts and ideas and feelings, even if you're not feeling and thinking the same thing. And what I mean by,
Yeah.
we've had times where I have felt hurt by something that he did or didn't do. And, the ability to respect the fact that I felt hurt and say, that was not my intention. And I didn't put this in there, but apologizing, even though it's not about admitting you're wrong. It's like, my intention was not to hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. So respecting each other's thoughts, ideas, and feelings, because you don't have to always agree. We don't always agree. Balance of quality time together and having your individual interests. I think I have people in my life where they're together 24/7, always together. I'm not saying it's bad. I do think it's beneficial for you to have your own interests as well. Whether it's I'm going to take an hour and go read because you're an avid reader or join a book club. Sam has golf. I have tennis. He has nights during the week where he goes out with the guys for a drink after work. I have a girls' night out once every couple months with the same group of like 4 women. We do girls' night out and we go to each other's homes. So respect, a balance of quality time together, having individual interests, and asking for what you need.
Those are all very key points in making a healthy and happy relationship.
It could be for your friends' relationships.
Okay, I have one more strange question. Maybe it's not strange, but I like to get to know something about you that maybe other people might not know. So every woman I know, you carry a bag or a purse. What are 3 things that you always have to have in that purse? And what's the meaning behind them?
I have to have an extra set of contact lenses because saying that if they're not there, I'll be blurry. I have to have my Tic Tacs because 2 reasons for that. They're not just for breath. Because if I do eat something and I feel like, blah, blah, I want a Tic Tac, but mint calms the stomach. So if I'm having like any kind of like stomach issue, whether it's indigestion or acid, mint is the fast. Or if I get motion sickness in a car because I can get car sick, mint calms it down. So the mint is really why. And the 4th thing is like some kind of chapstick for my lips because they always get dry. And I like to have those. Those are 3 things I would have in my pocket, in addition to wallet and everything.
Yeah.
But those 3 things. I love that question. That's a really good question. I like it because when we move from like the bag to the fanny pack, those 2 things still are in my fanny pack.
They
That's a
come
good
with you.
question.
Jodi, this is just, I have had so much fun talking with you today. And I want my audience to be able to connect with you and find you.
Well, first of all, I have to tell you, you keep smiling because you have a great smile, Holly. You do.
Oh,
Your whole face lights up when you smile. So you keep smiling at people, and people, you will spread happiness. The best place to find me is at jodisilverman.com. It's my website. We have a Facebook group, Moms Who Dare. So if you're on Facebook, absolutely join the Moms Who Dare Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group. It's a great community. We plan virtual and in-person events over there for anybody who lives near me in the Philadelphia 5-county area. If not, we do virtual events. So much fun there. You can find support there. We have mentor members in the group that in all areas of life. I know that in August, we're going to have our free Summer Dare challenge, a 5-week challenge, which is going to incorporate some smile and play. So there's a way to sign up for that, but that's in the Facebook. I can give you a link if you want. But it's a free 5-week challenge for the whole month of August. And in addition, so how that works, when you sign up, you get on my email list. Each Thursday in August, you'll get an email with whatever that challenge is for the week, an audio message from me. And I'm sharing a featured program from previous guests on my show that I thought people would enjoy this summer to support them through the summer months and give them a little bit of fun too.
That's great for August. So again, I wanted to say thank you. This has been such a delight in talking with you. And I hope this isn't our last conversation because this was really good.
I loved it. I'm looking forward to hosting you on my show too.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Jodi.
Thank you for joining us on Real Wisdom. If you're inspired by stories like this and want to be a part of a community that celebrates the wisdom of women, visit joinempart.com and become a part of our conversation. And don't forget to subscribe for even more real wisdom. Until next time, keep embracing your story.